Hey everyone, welcome to Mindful Mindsets, and today I'm going to tell you why you are bad at that, whatever that happens to be. Are you ready for it? The reason you're bad at it is because you don't do it. You don't practice it. Now, this is such an obvious truth, but we often forget it. We often think, oh, I should be good at that. It's right in my wheelhouse. It's right in my skill set. I'm so good at this, and it's similar to that. The reason you're not good at it is because you haven't done it yet. You haven't practiced it. And I want to share a story about this that made me realize this obvious truth and what we can do about it. How we can have a more appropriate mindset to help us get better at things if we want to get better at them. So I've talked a lot on this channel about Tal Ben-Shahar's positive psychology course at Harvard, and there were 900 students in the class, so there were a ton of grad students teaching the class, but two of the grad students in particular, they love to compare and contrast because they look kind of similar, they're both attractive, they were both successful, they were both really nice, but one was really happy, he scored way on the outlier end of all of those questionnaires, and one was kind of in a mildly depressed category. Probably not clinically depressed, but certainly not as happy as he could be. So it was a great sort of case study that they could do, comparing the two and what's different about these two guys that seem so outwardly similar, what's different on the inside. And as you know, positive psychology, the two best psychological interventions pretty much always are exercise and meditation. And we've talked a lot about this, and of course, what better thing to do than combine the two and do yoga? So a lot of the people in the course practiced yoga. Tal himself did yoga all the time. And one day there was a free yoga class that happened to be being offered right after the grad students and Tal Ben-Shahar met. And so he was inviting everybody that he saw that day saying, hey, you should come to this yoga class, you should come to this yoga class. And he went to the mildly depressed grad student first and said, hey, Ben, you should come to this yoga class. And Ben said, oh man, yeah, exercise, combining exercise and meditation. We talk about that all the time. What could be better? And then Ben said, well, but I'm just really inflexible, so I couldn't do yoga. And Tal Ben-Shahar didn't think much of it, went about his day, talked to other people. Some said yes, some said no. And then he saw later in the day the really happy grad student, the guy who was very similar to Ben. He said, Josh, hey, there's a free yoga class right after our meeting. You should come. And Josh said, oh man, we always talk about that, right? Combining exercise and meditation, what could be better? And I'm really inflexible, so it's a great opportunity for me. And this story really hit me for two reasons. One, it highlights so obviously the difference between seeing things as a stumbling block or a stepping stone. Are the things that we're bad at, are they blocks to us growing, or are they opportunities for us to grow even further? And the things that we're bad at, we can get better at even quicker. But it hit me even harder because one of the things that I had always believed about myself was that I was really inflexible, probably both spiritually and mentally also, but physically, that I was very inflexible. I was a great athlete as a kid, but in those stupid presidential fitness things that we really shouldn't do because they make kids kind of hate exercise, but in those I would always get participation awards, even though I would be in the top bracket in the running and the pull-ups in every category, but the sit and reach, and I would get a participation award because my score on the sit and reach was so bad. And I had all kinds of reasons for why I was so inflexible. I thought, it's probably because I'm tall. Tall people aren't as flexible. Or maybe it's my limb proportions. Maybe it's not that I'm inflexible, but maybe it's just I can't touch my toes because my arms are too short. Or genetically guys aren't as flexible. Or genetically I'm not flexible, or whatever. All these permanent things about myself for why I'm not flexible. And when I heard this story, I thought, well, hey, genius, maybe you're inflexible because you don't stretch. And so I started stretching every day, and I became pretty flexible. And it made me realize, of course, anything that we work at, we can get better at if we want to. And one of the corollaries to this story that I really like is I told my mom this story. And before I prefaced it, before I told the story, I said, so Mom, do you think I'm flexible or not? And she said, well, "You're not like a yogi." And I said, "Ooh, I have an opportunity here." And I said, "Well, why am I not like a yogi?" And she said, "Well, you're tall, you're this, you're that, you're, all those permanent things." And I said, "No, I'm not like a yogi because I don't do yoga that often. If I did, I would be as flexible as them, right?" And so I really like that attitude, that if you want to be good at something, you absolutely could be good at it. There's no reason why we can't. So I'm not saying that we can do anything, that I could have been in the NBA or that you could be a professional football player, but you could easily be good at football. You could be great at football. Now, that's a hyper-competitive field. You're not going to be elite just by working hard necessarily. You do need talent, but all of us could be really good at these things if we devote our time to it. So another thing, we think that people that are good at things, we think that they just got it overnight, or we think that there's something intrinsically about them. And Ellen Langer did a brilliant study where she showed Harvard students, these are no schlubs, she showed Harvard students really impressive scientists, people who were winning the Nobel Prize, people who had gained a lot of notoriety, people who were the best known tenured professors at Harvard, and she showed them some of their achievements. And she asked the first group, "Do you think that these people are attainable? Could you do something like them?" And overwhelmingly the students said, "Oh, no way, I can't do that. They're superstars, there's something super special about them. I could never attain what they attained." Second group showed the exact same achievements, but she showed the steps that they took to get there. Went to grad school. Some of them failed in grad school. Some of them had to take a year off. Some of them had to do all these things, right? Spent 3 years on their dissertation. Had 10 studies that didn't show good results. Did this to get to where they are today. Now, the key part is every success story can be broken down into smaller steps. And what did the students say? Overwhelmingly, they said, "Yeah, that's impressive, but it's attainable. If I worked hard, I could get that. If I persisted, I could get that level of success also." And that is true for all of us. If we work hard, we can get it. And even if we don't want to work that hard, if we just work at it a little bit, we can get way better at things. I now consider myself reasonably flexible. I don't work that hard at it. I just do 4 stretches a day. It's not that much, but now I'm a pretty flexible person, and most people would agree with that, but I'm not a yogi. And that's how we need to approach life, is that we need to have a growth mindset rather than a sort of talent mindset, that the reason we're good at things is because of our talent. It's not. We get good at things that we do. Yes, talent plays a role, but in most cases, except in the way off extremes, people like LeBron James, who also works very hard, but only in the way off extremes do you really need both extreme talent and extreme work. Think about learning how to walk. Everyone learns how to walk. No one can do it when they're born. You do it by practicing. That's how we learn it. And I want to conclude by saying, why are these videos not that great? And the reason is, I haven't done them that much. I'd love to be a YouTube star. I'd love to be more successful. I would love to be better at communicating these ideas that I think are worth sharing to a broader audience. But I'm not that great at it yet. Why? Because I haven't done it that much. This is only my 6th or 7th video I think I've posted. I made about 10 before I posted any. But the reason, I haven't done it that much. And I do think I'm getting better, and I do think I can get better. When I watch people on YouTube, a lot of times I think, oh my God, I could never do something like they did. But I bet if I saw all the steps that it took, if I saw all the work they put in, if I saw the very first video that they ever shot that they probably took down or never even posted, I might be able to say, yeah, okay, I could take those steps and I could do that. So my sincerest hope, I think this is very unlikely, but you never know. You can dream big, and I have big goals. So my sincerest hope is that someday I do have a successful YouTube channel and I can leave these initial videos up and you can come back and see this video and hopefully I'm looking at it and cringing and going, wow, that was so bad. I can't believe I used to think that was good. But hopefully that will happen, and it will at least be able to show people you don't get success overnight. You don't get good at things overnight. You get good at things by practicing, by doing them. And that's what I hope to leave you with today. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you continue watching this channel, and hopefully I continue to get better and better, and we'll see you next time.